Hello and welcome to part 3 of this introduction to What a Cowboy. Today we're looking at one of the core parts of the game as we prepare to play, the character record sheet. This is where we know all that we need to know about our characters and track what's happening to them during the game. And let's prepare our record sheet for Cactus Denton, that grisly old buffalo hunter. Obviously I'm going to fill in his name. Then we add his level, so shootist, and his marksman skill. And then I add his weapons, and you'll recall that for the last programme we purchased a Winchester rifle from the general store for the very reasonable price of $50. But like all of our characters, Cactus came equipped with a 6-shooter, so we add that pistol to the record sheet too. Characters can carry up to 2 weapons with them, so Cactus could use his long arm or may decide that a pistol might be more appropriate for close quarter action, and he can switch between the two. And in some situations, switching weapons is a quicker option than reloading. Now we come to the most important bit, and that's the action dice. Every character has got 6 of these, or at least that's what they begin the game with. Some more colourful characters may have just 5, such as the town drunk, but 6 is the norm. As the game plays out, the character may find the number of action dice reduces due to wounds or shock. Indeed, the shock pool that you can see here is where dice lost temporarily are moved to, if and when that happens. Next, we add any bonanza tokens that the character begins the game with. Cactus is a shootist, so he's got just 1. A gunslinger would have 2, a legend a whopping 3, and poor old little Jim has no bonanza tokens at the outset. But like all characters, he could gain them during play. Finally, we track our ammunition. What a Cowboy is a very token light game and has almost no battlefield clutter that can really detract from gameplay. Here we use a simple D6 to track ammunition. Cactus has his Winchester as a primary weapon, so I use 2 D6 to show the 12 rounds he begins with. As he shoots, we simply track the number of rounds used by reducing the pips on the dice. If he switches to his 6-shooter, we can add a dice of a different colour to track any rounds used from that weapon. That's our dashboard set up for Cactus, and we'll do the same for little Jim now, so you can see this looks rather different. Jim has got a 6-shooter, so he only has 1 ammunition dice. He also doesn't have a bonanza token, but you can see he still starts out with 6 action dice, and we've made a note that he is a greenhorn and that he's only got a 6-shooter. So we're nearly ready to go, and as you can see, I've set up some terrain for our first game. And I have to say it's been great to see the work that people are doing in preparation for What a Cowboy. And I've got to mention Mike Wilkins in Leicester, who inspired us all with the fantastic bunkhouse he built using an MDF model as a base and coffee stirrers sourced from who knows where. Now this is a brilliant example of just how little terrain you need for a game of What a Cowboy. And this has actually inspired me with the rural setup that we're going to play over. Let's hope executives in Seattle don't look too carefully at Mike's building. Whereas Mike's table looks like it's somewhere down New Mexico way, this one's more northerly, possibly Wyoming or Colorado, and a little bit greener, a bit more verdant, but I'm sure those mountains will form a fabulous backdrop. Anyway, before we start, let's discuss the mechanism at the heart of What a Cowboy, and that's the action dice. When a character is activated, the player rolls the number of action dice that the character currently has in play. At the start of the game, that's 6 dice. As the game progresses, that could reduce either permanently as the character suffers wounds or temporarily as dice are lost to shock. What you roll on your hand of action dice will determine what a character can do in their activation. We'll see how this works in detail when we play through a game in the next film, but let's take a look at each dice in turn to give a general overview. If I roll a 1, as I have done here, it's a move dice. This allows your character to move and to do things that are movement related, like climbing or leaping or other exciting things such as going through doors and so on and so forth. If you roll a 2, That's a spot dice. You can't shoot anyone if you can't see them. A character standing in the open within 12 inches of you is going to be automatically spotted, but if they are in or behind cover, then you'll need to use spotting dice to see them. The more cover they're in, the more spotting dice you'll need. Very simple. If it's a 3, it's an aim dice. You don't need to aim to shoot at another character, but if you do, then it's more likely that you'll hit, and it's more likely that a hit will do some serious damage. It's a simple mechanism where you have a +1 to hit for each aim dice played. Nice and easy. If it's a 4, it's a shoot dice, and actually so is a 5. So roll of 4 or 5 is a shoot dice. Now normally you can shoot once for each shoot dice played. There are 1 or 2 exceptions, such as a shotgun, but that's pretty much universal. A 4 or 5 can also be used as reload dice. 1 round reloaded for each dice played, so it's worth having a second weapon handy as an insurance policy rather than having to fumble reloading new rounds, fresh rounds, with an enemy bearing down on you. A 6 is an Aces High dice. It's effectively a wild dice that you can change into any action dice you need. So if you want to move and you haven't rolled a 1, you can turn your Aces High dice into a 1. If you want to spot, you can turn it into a 2, and so on. But there's more. You'll need an Aces High dice if you want to try any trick shooting, or to attempt to pull off a Hollywood stunt such as leaping through a plate glass window and coming up shooting, or throwing yourself from a fast moving train onto a wagon that's racing alongside it. All things are possible if you have an Aces High dice in your hand. Aces High dice also generate random events, or can even earn you bonanza tokens to use in play. As I say, we'll see all of this in action when we play our game in the next film. For now, you can see how the basic mechanism works. There are some variables in there, so a gunslinger can roll his hand of action dice and choose any one of those to change into any other result that they want other than an Aces High dice. A legend can change 2 dice, making them very tough opponents indeed. Well, that's a look at the core action dice mechanism. We're pretty much all ready to play, but that's all we have got time for today. We're looking forward to the next short film where Nick and I are going to be playing out a game on this 3 foot by 3 foot area, and we can show you exactly how things work as we play through the game. Hopefully we'll see you then. For now, I'm going to strap on some chaps and mosey on down to the saloon for a shot of red eye. So long, partners.